Stephen Foster, reintroducing on BBC Radio Suffolk.
Good evening, a very warm welcome to the programme. Tonight we're looking back on the years of punk with Ipswich band The Addicts. The Addicts. Delighted to say that founder member Mel Ellis is guesting on the programme tonight, and his younger brother Scruff. Great to see you both.
Hello now.
And you two, of course, were there right from the start, particularly you, Mel, because you were in the band. Tell us how the Addicts got together.
We got together. A friend of mine introduced me to Peter in the racecourse, which is long gone, and he was looking to start a band with his kid brother on the drums, and we found Keith Warren as a singer. And we started from there. We had no bass player, which is like a recurring theme in the whole thing, really. It's So we were first called The Pins, and we did a gig at Murrayside as The Pins. That didn't last long, the name, so we quickly dumped that one, and we came up with The Addicts. And over time, we took the image of Clockwork Orange and to wear white, basically, because all the other sort of punk bands, they all dressed in black. So it was Cockney Rebel and a few other bands and a bowl of hats and everything else. So it sort of made us apart from all the other sort of bands. We started to play, because we rehearsed at Murrayside Youth Club, which was absolutely brilliant, because we had a rehearsal room, and a lot of bands sort of started their bands there, and we just carried on from there. And then we got a gig in London at the Brecknock in Camden, and there were a couple of chaps from Dining Out Records, and they had a word with us, and they were talking about bringing out an EP. This is where Lunch with the Addicts came out, which was a 4-track EP. So that was our first record. We'd done some demos at Hillside Studios and stuff, so we were chuffed that we'd got something out.
It's an EP I still have in my collection.
Yes, there's a few, because the first 100, they all had individual numbers, I think there's probably many more since then.
It's a bit like the White Album then.
Yeah. So yes, that was the first recording, and then I think after that we had enough tracks to record an album, and we went over to Stow Upland.
Was that Dave Hoser's studio?
That's right, yeah. What was that called?
I can't remember.
Octopus Studios.
Octopus Studios, yes. And we went in there and we had limited time, limited funds, and we bashed the whole thing down in one day. And then I think the second day we mixed, and I can't remember what we had on the third day, but it was done and dusted. And
this was Songs of Praise?
This was Songs of Praise, yes. And Cherry Red took it up, and they put it out. So we had an LP out.
Suddenly you were a nationally known punk band.
Well, yes. We were part of the sort of scene back then. But, yeah.
Scruff, what are your memories of those really early days at Murrayside then?
Oh, man. Like I say, about 7 or 8 years old, I remember them making a hell of a row in my parents' garage and stuff. And I remember Elvis dying around that time, so that was 77. So
nothing to do with it.
No, but you know, these memories are coming back to me and stuff. But yeah, it was. I say I didn't really pay attention until he brought this record home, I think, and then it was like whoa. And then it was really, really cool. It was really fun, you know, and to, you know, just be part of that and stuff. So, you remember we used to deliver the Adicts single to Power Records, didn't we? In Dad's Three-Wheeler.
Where you worked. So
later.
Later.
Getting me in.
Yeah,
I was still probably 12 or 13 or whatever. But
so after that, we just started to play more gigs and stuff. Then we started to play at the 100 Club, and which was really good because the promoters there used to be the promoters at the Manor, and that's how Led Zeppelin got booked in the Manor. So and they used to put lots of bands on. So, and they were really nice people, and we used to play there quite a bit. We got some good exposure, you know, from the London thing, and then after the Songs of Praise, we recorded another album, Sound of Music, which we recorded in Hitchin.
Did well in the indie chart, didn't you, with that one?
Probably.
According to my records, you got to number 2.
Oh right.
And you held off. You were held off the top spot by Toyah.
Oh right.
Warrior Rock was the album.
Okay. All right. Okay.
There you go. All coming flooding back, Mel. Now,
no,
isn't it?
not at all now.
Real sounds. But just going back to that, so that single, and then you'd done the album and stuff, and so then he comes back with a white label LP, and you played us "Viva the Revolution," Mum and Dad, me, Mum and Dad, and then it was even like, this is really catchy, it's really good. So we're all impressed by you.
Yeah, well, it's like I say, I had no musical, you know, talent. It was just the fun to play.
He had a bedroom audition with Nick Kershaw before the Addicts. You didn't know that, did you,
That's
kid?
a bit too much information.
That was 5 minutes. That one lasted. Yeah. But so that was really good. You know, we just got the second one out, and what was the third one?
Well, let's come to the third one a bit later,
Okay.
Because we want to play "Viva la Revolution," which, as Scruff says, great single.
It's an anthem, isn't it?
It is an anthem, no doubt about that, and sadly, pretty relevant today, it seems.
Yes.
In so many ways, in so many places.
Yes, that's right.
Mark my words, Quentin Tarantino will use that in a movie someday.
Well,
I hope
nice,
so.
wouldn't it? Yeah.
But they say, you know, I skipped over a lot of things. They say when we first started, we played in Aldeburgh Scout Hut, and we played quite a bit of smallish venues. And I say, we used to get Geordie, our sort of manager, who was Peter's and Kid's father. He used to get a coach. And so this is where we started to play with Jar Warrior.
Yeah.
And it was like the punky reggae party, all on the coach. And so that was a good scene as well.
Let's hear Viva la Revolution and then talk a bit more about those days. These are the Addicts.
Come out of the hole, come out of the woodwork, come into the fold. Rebels and fighters and like to kill. Night with the bandits, top of the hill. Open your windows, open your doors, open your minds to a freedom of thought. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Raise the voices, raise the flag, smash the symbols of the life we had. Look at the future, look at the stream, look at our hopes and look at the dream. That's in the streets and the carnival. Celebrate the victory now. Drink the wine from the rich man's cask. This revolution won't be the last. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Open your doors, open your minds to a freedom of thought. That's in the streets and the carnival. Celebrate the victory now. Drink the wine from the rich man's cash. This revolution won't be the last. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution. Viva the revolution.
Viva la Revolution by the Addicts here on BBC Radio Suffolk. Founder member Mel Ellis is with us in the studio. Mel played bass with the band for many years, and his brother Scruff, who also spent quite a bit of time on the road with the Addicts, is with us on the programme. Scruff, when did you link up with the Addicts? When was your connection then?
Well, basically, they didn't play for quite a long time. They were still going. I think Mel left in the sort of 90s, was it? Yeah, sometime there. And they had various bass players, and then, but I think Peter got ill, and then they didn't do anything for at least 8 years or something. I got told by Hoggy, their long-term manager, roadie, sorry. He'd like that.
In his dreams.
In his dreams. That Tony Hawk had requested. Well, they were trying to put a gig on. His skateboard company for a party for him, and they asked him what would be his his dream gig. And he said it would be the Addicts and Blink-182. Kind of weird, but the thing was, he went to school with Blink-182 and he loved the Addicts from the day in the 80s, I guess, when he was a young skateboarder.
Yeah, he was only 12.
So, and the Addicts weren't playing, so it was a dream gig. So then this sort of thing came up, and I got whispered that this is going to happen, and because Peter's not totally 100%, and you might be asked to play backup guitar in case he runs out of energy and stuff, and it's always good to have another guitar going. And this was 2000, I believe, and I kept thinking, this won't happen, it's too good. I was just going through a divorce, and I was thinking, it's too good, it won't happen. And then I get told, you're going to be marketed as Baby Addict. And I'm thinking, okay, still, yeah, okay. Still didn't believe it, really, thought it won't happen. And then it did. And that was it. So then I went out to LA, we all went out to LA, had our first rehearsal near the Queen Mary. Yeah, remember that? And that was magical, because that was something really cool for me, because I was a little too young to really take it all in the early days, but playing with them and stuff, I was really nervous. I said, what do they want me to do? What they want me to do? And Peter told Mel, he said, get your brother just to listen to the records, just play like them. So we had this rehearsal, and then they were just that thing when you get like the original musicians of a band all together again and stuff, and all the years, and they look at each other when they're playing, they start laughing and remembering things. I was like just watching from the outside, this magic happen in the room, really. And I thought, I'm really lucky to be playing here, and I'm really lucky to be witnessing this and stuff. And it was amazing, and the gig went down great, and I think we knighted Tony Hawk with skateboards on stage with a throne and everything. And Blink-182, one of them had done his back in, so that didn't happen in the end. We had Pete and the Test Tube Babies.
Mel, are the memories flooding back, Mel?
Oh no, I remember it well.
No. He's got cold sweats at night through this.
No, it was great to sort of like get everybody together, and that was the first time to play with my kid brother. As I say, he was just so young. I barely remembered him, and I say, until he started to play guitar, I had no sort of any awareness of him at all, so he's just like my little kid brother.
So is it fair to say, Scruff, the Addicts, big influence on you then and indeed now in some ways?
Everything, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know, it's I said this last time I was on, but it's kind of like, see Mel and Geordie, Peter and Kid's dad, he sort of put ran the sort of the Nightmares, it was called, in the Viking Bar in Murrayside. And so me, Wolfie and my friends and stuff, we were about 14 and stuff, and there's a scene going on, and we wouldn't have, I don't think we would have been allowed to be there if it wasn't for him being my older brother and stuff. So we were accepted and stuff, and it was and Mel and Geordie particularly, and also and Peter, and gave us songs that the Addicts didn't use. It was, honestly, they helped us out so much. They don't even know that we used to use all their equipment. So we're a 14-year-old school band called the Bad Boys. Where do we get that name from, I wonder? And I'm using Marshall Stacks, which is incredible, but Peter didn't know, but he does now.
Let's hear some more music from the Addicts, then we'll talk some more. This one is Steamroller. You're listening to BBC Reintroducing on BBC Radio Suffolk, Ipswich band The Addicts with Steamroller. Mel, let's come to you again now, because obviously we've talked about the early days, but all the way through the 80s, The Addicts seem to be releasing quite a few albums and singles.
Yes.
I can help you out here.
Like,
so let's go to Smart Alex, right? Yes. There's also Stephen will remember.
Smart Alex.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Stephen will remember this. Can you? You remember Battle of the Bands thing? And I think in the Addict, it was the Corn Exchange, and the Addicts played.
Yes.
At the end, could you remember?
That's
that?
right, as guests. Yeah.
So you remember that, and that's when that was my first time I ever really properly saw you. We'll go back. So talk about Smart Alex now, and it was Dave Fenton from the Vapors who produced it.
Bad Boys on it, Tokyo. Smart Alex.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That Rock and Wrecker, we like that one.
Yeah, there's 2 tunes.
Or Your Old Fools.
Oh yeah, that's a very good one. Yeah. Yeah, I quite like. Yeah, it's quite a few tracks
California.
on. Yeah, California. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll close all this up. Don't worry.
Yeah. There's.
The third album, Smart Alex, featured what was to become your only hit single, Bad Boy.
Yes, that was as the.
Reached number 75.
Yes,
and stayed there for 1 week.
In a bullet, out in a bullet. Yeah.
And if it wasn't for the picture disc, it would have got it all.
Monkey's face, definitely.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, was Parrots and or Rex, that they were chart return shops, weren't they?
Yeah, I believe so. I can't remember now. I wasn't working there then.
No.
But there was some very good tracks on that album, and we went up to Newcastle. And the studio was owned by the AC/DC singer.
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
He came in one night and he said, "Yes, good man." A real good, you got a Geordie accent. And that was nice. And we had Dave Fenton from the Vapors to produce it. But there was some really good tracks on that, Smart Alex and Rock and Wrecker. So I was really pleased with that album.
And this was the first time I ever saw you play live properly. I mean, I'd seen you bits and pieces as a kid, but I suppose I was at the probably now age to really absorb it. And the Corn Exchange you played, and it was Geordie. Obviously, you'd got outfits, you'd got these. Let's not say about them the better and stuff. But I was so impressed because it was a show. It really was. It was, but we done. I know we done a show later in 2000. We carried on. They still are doing it now. But I don't know. It blew me away. It really did. I thought you were professional. Dare I say?
It was the visuals and stuff, and yeah. And we started to play the Lyceum, Sadly No More, that bit of venue, and we had some really good spots. We played with Hanoi Rocks. We even played with the Bay City Rollers, which was they were really nice people, Well,
so, Kid looks like a member of the Bay City Rollers, doesn't he? It's the teeth.
He was wearing tarp, yes. But so we had some really, really big gigs in London, and so that was good. So Smart Alex came out.
And you went over to the States at around this time too. That must have been incredibly exciting.
Yes, it was. It was, the whole experience of being picked up in a limo, and and as I say, it was a totally different environment to what we've been used to, and we had some very, very good tours in the States, mostly around California.
Oh, yeah, I was so into the Dickies, and he came back and he played with the Dickies and the Bad Brains. I remember you saying they're the best band you've ever seen.
Santa Monica Civic.
Descendants.
I remember that very, very well because that's where David Bowie, the famous bootleg album, was recorded. So I was, and because there's a picture of me just looking up at the Santa Monica Civic, which was, I mean, like I say, I was a fan all the way through. It was, so you are, so you just love the music, what you grew up with, and it was great to play the venues that they played at. So, yeah. And then we started to play quite a few tours in America because I think they latched on to the image more, the Clockwork Orange, because that was very big around that time. And
you couldn't. The film was banned at the time.
Yeah,
still.
It was.
So
yeah. And say we were whites with the bowler hat, and I'm not sure if the all the theatrics were coming in then with all the glitter and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Smart Alex time.
Smart Alex time, yes.
Because for me, the Addicts weren't as appreciated, or should have been more appreciated than they were in the UK. I don't think the UK
yes,
really took the band to its heart.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably why we moved to playing more in America. So, and we did a whole... We used to go to Denver, but we always used to be sitting in the back of the transit van, with your knees up, travelling 24 hours, to get to the next gig. But as I say, when you're young, you don't mind all that because it's all part of the experience.
And you told me at the time you got offered to stay, have work visas and stay and work America and stuff. But Peter had got one child by then, wasn't it, or was it two? So it couldn't be done anyway and stuff. But also, I don't actually know this, but the Sire Records in that.
That's right. Yeah, we met
Seymour
Stein, and he just signed Madonna. Whatever happened to Madonna?
It was the same week. It was the same week.
Yeah.
And remember, you couldn't be called the Addicts.
Yes, there was another problem they had.
ADX.
That's it.
That's another thing. Yeah.
That was children's TV to blame for that, wasn't it? Or was it the States?
No, they were called the Fun Addicts on Cheggers Plays Pop.
Yeah. Right. I mean, Keith Chegwin, he said, I don't care what you're called. He's a really nice chap, and doesn't matter what you're called. But so we did the show, and I must admit it was very professionally done.
Yeah, it's great,
and it still looks great now.
Yeah,
going back to I can't remember what year it was, but So that was good exposure, and I say we probably played more in the States from then on. But
the ADX was Sire Records' idea, and that changing in that, and really it was the first nail in the coffin, really, because like I said, you'll get accused by your fans of you're selling out and changing and stuff. But if you look at every punk band, they all had to change some way if they wanted to get up, because they weren't getting on the radio. So like some of the bands went metal, some of them went really pop and stuff. So the Addicts went more pop and kind of lost a lot, didn't you, and stuff. And Temple Tudor, who you loved at the time. You see, the thing of the mutual love between those two bands is like Temple Tudor had one guitar. Basically, you swapped, didn't you? You had you lost the guitar because the Temple Tudor had one, and they gained a guitar because they loved the Addicts having two. And both of you, the next albums didn't do as well. It's just the way it is.
Just going back to Geordie, your manager, certainly in the early days. Is he still with us?
Yes, he's not very well at the moment, but we wish him all well.
Well, we do, and if he happens to be listening, I've got fond memories of Geordie. I was really impressed with the Addicts because they had their own manager in those days. I know it was to do with the family and all that, but
£3.50, lads, £3.50. But everything was £3.50.
But that was the good thing about it, because it was a family thing. It was it wasn't like business. Do you know what I mean? It was like a family, and that was a good thing about it, really. Yeah. So
still later on as well,
Yeah, for sure.
Let's play another Addicts track, another classic actually, Chinese Takeaway. Chinese takeaway from the Addicts. We're featuring the Ipswich punk band on the programme tonight. Founder member Mel Ellis is with us in the studio, and his brother Scruff, who these days is just about to play a gig in Ipswich. In fact, in a few weeks' time, at the end of September, with Mel on bass. That's great.
Yeah, it's something that we when we first played together in about 2000 and stuff, it was really good fun and stuff. So later on, you know, like Mel left and I left a couple of years back, and I had this idea, this bucket list thing to say, me and Mel have to make an album. We have to play together and stuff, and we just put that together, and it's really, really, really happy with it and stuff. And the gig, and we have a gig at St. Peter's Church on the 28th of September.
Yeah. Saturday 28th, with very special guests, Ricky and the Last Flames of Youth.
Yeah, this is our good old friend Ricky Flagg and stuff, the Charlie Harper of Ipswich punk rock.
Yeah,
we love you, and thank you for playing with me,
so to speak.
Yeah,
Mark Newby, who used to be part of War Waves, is also on the bill. So that's a great triple bill.
He's, like I say, he's a lovely chap. He used to come in the record shop in Rex and stuff. He's like a little kid and stuff. But he's helped me galore on the putting the record together, because I basically started my own record label as well, so I really know the ins and outs, and me and Mark basically have learned so much together by doing this project thing, so I said, yeah, he's got to play.
Mel, you must be looking forward to all this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was going to say before that I'm so proud of my brother writing this album, because he's had all these tracks for probably 5 years, and it was just waiting for the right time to put them out. And to me, I've come full circle. You understand? It's like now I'm playing with my brother again, and we should mention John Randall, because he's the powerhouse.
Yeah, well, yes, Johnny Randall.
He's the bonzo of the band. You know, we're going to have to put perspex screens.
So it's a free piece. It's really, it's really nice. I mean, I have ideas, but I just think it's really cool to keep it. Just really, really tight and stuff. But like, as soon as I saw John Randall play, and I just knew he was the one, and it came together really quick, didn't it, and stuff. So
it comes from the B Goods.
Yeah, and the B Goods and stuff. He's done lots of things, but like, oh man, we could both be a bit tired or something. If you start playing with him, you're on the ceiling. He's good.
So, Mel, you're no longer with the Addicts, but they're still going, aren't they?
Yes, they're still in California and doing the shows and stuff. There's still a
desire.
A desire, yeah, for the shows, and all power to them. But, keep them going, and
so you've got fond memories of most of your time with them, because with any band, I mean, you have your ups and downs, don't you?
Oh yes. I mean, I wouldn't be a band if everything was hunky dory. So yeah, but you say you have these things with band. It was basically I was away more than I should have been at home, and being a musician is a very selfish occupation. Because you're away from the family, and you're away, and then you're away because you've got to do the tour, but you got to do the tour to be. So that's probably why I had to stop.
And at your sort of level, it's not as if you're going to go out on tour and make enough to buy your house when you come back, is it?
No, I mean, like I say, I did it for the love of playing, never for the getting rich, because musicians never get rich unless you're Sting or
if you're a songwriter and stuff, and you sell enough records and things. But,
so like I say, if the fun is gone, then it's time to stop. So
as Gary Shandling once said, if you have the calling inside you got to do it. It doesn't matter if you stink. You got to do it. It's not going to let you stop. So yeah. What, you never heard that?
Well, I've heard
many have down the years.
Gary Shandling quotes, but that's excellent.
But again, do you know what? Like I said, when maybe in the 80s, you can imagine things change and stuff, and bands, go out of favour a little bit and stuff. So to come back like in 2000 and play this, the Tony Hawk show was like wow and stuff. And the next night we were playing the Whiskey A Go Go. It's just and it just carried on like that. It just played some legendary places. We even played CBGB's on your birthday, Mel, didn't we?
Yeah, that was especially a Hyde moment, because the place was about to be shut down.
Yeah.
And we were probably one of the last.
Yeah, probably closed about
bands
a few months
to play the CBG. It's a toilet, but
it's a
nice toilet.
This is what I was just going to add a little story about this. So basically, we weren't staying in New York that night. We're playing New Jersey, I believe, the next night. So we were kind of we hired a little hotel room for all of us just to chill out a little bit. Before and after or whatever, near CBGB's. And so we were about to go, and Monkey says, right, boys, we're now going to play the most famous toilet in the world. and honestly, I just looked around at all the graffiti, Dee Ramone, everything's there. And all I kept thinking about was when I playing on that stage. Again, it was rising in my feet. I just kept thinking of Joey, really, because it just lost Joey.
It was a tiny.
But do you know what? Do you remember
stage.
what else? Do you remember what else? We plugged in, and it sounded awesome.
Yes,
no sound check, straight away.
Yeah.
And then the support band knew that it was Mel's birthday, and they brought on a cake for him. A nice cake on stage, and then straight in his face. There is some video.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Addy, New York Relics. Well,
guys, we've run out of time, but fantastic memories. Well, guys, thank you very much indeed for coming in. Some wonderful memories of the Addicts, past and, very nearly present, but between you're no longer part of the Addicts scene, but you've kept in touch, I take it, with the rest of the guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like an ex-girlfriend. You don't really want to know exactly what's going on, do you? But, come on.
Yeah.
I know, there could... Who knows? I don't know, sometimes I think, ain't going to happen, but it would be wonderful, wouldn't it, one day to see the four of them, and if I get lucky, I could play two.
The Addicts with Joker in the Pack. Thanks once again to Mel Ellis and Scruff Myers for popping in to take us back to the sort of classic lineup of the Addicts and indeed some of what happened afterwards. And just to recap on that gig that Scruff mentioned, his band Superhands appearing at St Peter's by the Waterfront in College Street, Ipswich on Saturday the 28th of September. Doors at 7 o'clock. The show starts at 7:30. Very special guests, Ricky and the Last Flames of Youth. Also Mark Newby, formerly of Warwaves, who'll be on the bill as well. Tickets are just £8 in advance, £10 on the door, and it's unreserved standing. So you can check out the St Peter's by the Waterfront website and buy tickets there, and also check out Scruff Myers Superhands on Facebook. Hopefully, Superhands recording a session for my drive time show in the next few weeks, which we're planning to run in the lead up to that gig of theirs on Saturday the 28th of September.
Stephen Foster, reintroducing